Firstly, I want to reiterate that our thoughts and condolences are with the families of Olivia Pratt-Korbel, Ashley Dale and Sam Rimmer. Thank you for all coming today and for your continued support as we work to identify those responsible for these callous and cold-blooded murders that have rocked our communities. Our officers and detectives have been working round the clock in our relentless pursuit to identify the offenders and bring them to justice. We have had some phenomenal support from the communities in the affected areas of Dingle, Old Swan and Dovecot, and beyond, in the form of both information coming into the investigations, but also support for the ongoing investigations. It's also been heartening to hear from members of the community who have spoken about the confidence that they have in us working with the information that we've been given to bring those offenders to justice. Over the last few days, the investigations have been moving at pace, as you would imagine. And I'd like to now hand you over to Detective Chief Superintendent Mark Kameen, who will be able to provide some more detailed information about each of those investigations.
Thank you, sir. Good morning, everybody. I will attempt wherever possible now, as I hopefully did in the first briefing, to be as transparent as to where the investigation up to as possible. However, you and everybody listening and watching this broadcast do need to realise that these are ongoing live investigations, and there will be elements of those investigations that I am unable to talk about at this time. And I'll give a short update around each of those investigations. I'll tackle that in chronological order as they occurred. The first murder was of Sam Rimmer. Sam was murdered in cold blood on the 16th of August in the area of Dingle in Merseyside. Firstly, we are continuing to support Sam's family at this incredibly difficult time. For each of these murders, none of us, and me certainly, can even begin to appreciate what those family members must be going through. We have specialist officers supporting the family. As a result of information that we've received and the work that's been undertaken by the detective cohort that is engaged on this inquiry, we have made 3 arrests. Those men have been arrested on suspicion of murder. They have now been released on bail, and our inquiries continue. I would urge anybody with any information in respect of this investigation, this brutal murder, to come forward and engage with us. In my first appeal, I spoke about the fact that there were 4 offenders, and we believe that they arrived on 2 electric bikes. I'm still interested in hearing any information around the identity of those 4 individuals. I am still interested in finding out where the gun is that was used in that offence. And I'm still interested in any information in respect of the 2 electric bikes that we believe were used to convey those 4 men to the scene. I'd reiterate what Mr. Green said at the start. The level of support from our communities across each of these investigations has been phenomenal. But please, let's keep that pace with the information coming into the inquiry. So in short, who are the men that were responsible? Where are they now? Where are those bikes? And where is that gun? I'll now move on to the murder of Ashley Dale. Ashley, as we know, was callously murdered on the evening of the 21st of August. And once again, as with Sam's family, we are continuing to support Ashley's family at this incredibly difficult time. Again, I'm incredibly grateful for the level of support and engagement that our community have provided to us. In relation to this murder investigation, I can also confirm that a man and woman have been arrested. The man has been arrested on suspicion of murder, and the woman has been arrested for assisting an offender. And inquiries are continuing around those two individuals. In my first appeal, I asked for people to come forward who were on foot in the street in Leinster Road, and that appeal still stands. We know that there's still people in the community walking around, whether it be walking home, maybe coming home from after being on a night out, or just milling about in the street at the time when this took place, which was at around midnight. I still want those people to come forward and make contact with us. If you have any information in relation to this murder investigation, please support the police inquiry. I'll now move on to the final murder investigation, that of Olivia Pratt-Korbel. Poor Olivia was murdered brutally in her own home on the 22nd of August. Our officers continue to carry out extensive inquiries, and I can confirm that there are a number of very positive lines of inquiry that we are pursuing. In my previous appeal, I asked for the man responsible for this brutal, callous, thoughtless attack to surrender himself to the police. Unfortunately, that individual has failed to do that. But my message to him remains the same. We will not rest until we find you, and we will find you. Again, as I've said with the appeals around both Sam and Ashley, I cannot stress enough the importance of community engagement in solving each of these crimes. We've had a wealth of information and engagement, and I'm incredibly grateful for that. I can confirm that the 35-year-old man who was the target of this attack remains in hospital seeking treatment. I can also confirm that Merseyside Police, working with its partners, have caused that male's licence to be revoked, and he'll be returned to prison once his treatment has been finalised. I can also confirm and ask directly for communities to give us information for the second man that was in company with that 35-year-old man. And again, I can now confirm that we have identified that male. I've repeatedly asked for any information and help from our communities, and as I've said already in this conference, I am incredibly grateful for the sheer levels and volume of information that we've received so far. This level of engagement, this level of cooperation, and this level of working together simply must continue. I hope our communities have also seen some of our responses over the last few days to the information that they're providing. I also need to remind everybody around the MIP opportunity on our website. It's the major incident portal to upload CCTV and make contact with us directly through the MIP or indeed through Crime Stoppers on 0800 555 111. I would very much like to be able to provide further information at this time. However, and I hope everyone can understand, and as I said at the start, it's simply not appropriate to divulge anything further at this stage, as these are live investigations and we cannot do anything that would prejudice the outcome of them. I'd also say that these investigations are incredibly fast-paced and incredibly complex. But despite this, there are multiple lines of inquiry that we are actively pursuing. I'd like to reassure our communities that we are working relentlessly on each of those murder investigations, and those main lines of inquiry are being pursued effectively. I really do appreciate, as I've said repeatedly, the engagement we've had thus far. I'd ask for it to continue, and also I appreciate the support that we have had from the media as well. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
So a news conference there being held by Merseyside Police, and no questions being allowed from members of the media who were there. This is a live investigation, we're told, and clearly we were given as much information as we are going to get. I think for people who were expecting a little bit more about the terrible killing of little Olivia, perhaps hoping for a name of this gunman, well, they will be disappointed, but they will be heartened by some of what we heard. Detective Chief Superintendent Mark Kameen there saying that they do have a number of positive lines of inquiry about this callous, thoughtless attack. He said, there is a message that I have for that gunman. We won't rest till we find you, and we will find you, is what he said. He also reiterated, didn't he, a number of times how grateful he is to the community for the support they're giving the police as they carry on with this investigation, but also for the information that they are being given. There was a fear that people would be reticent or unprepared to give any evidence to the police, give any information which might lead them to the gunman, but the police saying that they've been heartened by the response that they have had. They also confirmed what we were reporting yesterday, that there is a man being treated in hospital. He is the first man who entered Olivia's home, escaping from the gunman. He has been named, not by the police, interestingly, but certainly by local media, as Joseph Nee. We're told his licence will be revoked. He'll return to prison. He remains in hospital at the moment. And also that appeal for the second man, because we know that when the gunman was running down this avenue, he was chasing two men. One man who entered Olivia's house, but there was a second man. Now, we have been told that they know who he is. They've identified him. They didn't give a name, but clearly they want to know where he is, and they hope that people in Liverpool may be able to help them with that. He said it's a fast-paced investigation. Also listening in was Fraser Moore. Fraser will speak about the other two murders as well in a moment, but there will be, I think, a little bit of disappointment that we didn't get more information, but it does sound as if the police are getting tidbits from the community that are so desperately needed.
That's right. They say that they are getting a positive response, and that they are reassuring people that if they come forward, any information can be treated anonymously. There are numerous ways that people can get in touch with them, either directly. They can do it through Crime Stoppers, which is anonymous. They can upload any footage that they've got from CCTV cameras, mobile phones, anything like that, on a secure portal that's available through the Merseyside Police website. We know that the local council here have set up drop-in centres for people to come in if they don't want to deal with the police directly. They can go and talk to local councillors in confidence that their identities won't necessarily be revealed, and that those councillors will then pass that information onto police. They keep saying all the way through these investigations, it's the public that will hold the key to this. Someone will know the name of the person responsible for this, and of course there's the wall of silence that you're talking about, the grass culture that people keep referring to here. You know, people will be scared. These are dangerous people, and there will of course be concerns amongst people for their own safety, for the safety of their families, whether or not they are identified as someone who's giving information to police. But people are coming forward, and they are helping, and progress does seem to be being made.
OK, Fraser, thank you very much indeed. That's the update then on the murder of Olivia Pratt-Korbel. We were also given updates on Sam Rimmer. 3 arrests have been made on suspicion of murder. He was killed in Liverpool on the 16th of August. Also, Ashley Dale killed on the 21st of August. A man arrested on suspicion of murder. A woman arrested on assisting an offender. So clearly this investigation is continuing at a pace, as we heard from Merseyside Police. They are pleased with the information that they are getting from members of the public, but of course they are appealing for more information, for CCTV, for names, anything at all that could lead them to the man responsible for this horrific attack on a little girl on Monday nights.